So far in this chapter, we've been talking about measurement. This entire chapter is about measurement. But so far, we've been learning about the measurement called capacity. Capacity meaning how much liquid can a container hold. We know that we measure capacity in liters, right? We also talked about milliliters, which are smaller than liters. Today, we're going to talk about a different kind of measurement, and that is called mass. This kind of measurement means the amount of matter or material that is in an object. And this mass, right, not like the holy mass that we go to on Sundays, but mass meaning the amount of material that an object has. This kind of mass is measured in grams. Grams is the unit measurement in the metric system for mass. So when we're measuring the mass, we use grams, okay? So to give you an idea of, well, what is a gram? I don't know how much that weighs, right? Well, look at this little tiny paperclip here. This paperclip is about 1 gram. What about this here nickel? This is kind of the same size as that paperclip, but I think it might be a little bit heavier because it's more filled in. So let me put it on my scale here. And I find out that it weighs 5 grams. Now I have this whiteboard eraser. This doesn't weigh a lot, but it is definitely bigger. And when I weighed it, I found out it weighed 10 grams. Okay, now I just brought in this Bible. This is kind of bulky. It's definitely bigger. So I would think that it would be made of more material than any of those things I've done so far. Let me weigh it, and when I weigh it, I find out that it weighs 1,072 grams. So the thing is, that is getting to be kind of a really big number. And I don't want to start dealing with numbers that big. So we have something else called a kilogram. A kilogram. 1,000 grams equals a kilogram. 1,000 grams is the same thing as a kilogram. So that means the Bible right here that I just weighed is about 1 kilogram. Since it's about 1,000 grams, we could say it's 1 kilogram. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to work on filling out this chart. I'm going to find some objects. You can do this at home if you would like, if you have a scale. So you're going to find objects, and we're going to estimate whether they are less than a kilogram, about a kilogram, or more than a kilogram. Remember, the Bible was about a kilogram. So we're going to decide whether we would use grams or kilograms for each of these objects that I'm going to show you. The first object we're going to do is this Mr. Sketch marker. Do you think the Mr. Sketch marker is less than a kilogram, which was the Bible? I think it's less than that Bible, about the same as that Bible, or more mass than that Bible? I can tell just by looking at it, and I'm sure you can tell too, that that marker is definitely less. And if it's less, I would want to measure that in grams. Okay? I just want it to weigh it in grams. So when I do, sorry, it's kind of rolling a lot, I find out that the marker weighs 15 grams, which is less than kilograms, because kilograms, you need 1,000 grams to equal a kilogram. So it's 15 grams, which is definitely less than a kilogram. The next object I have here is a open can of Coke. It's not full. What do you think? Do you think that that can of Coke, that's halfway gone, is going to weigh less than the Bible, about the same as that Bible, or more than that Bible, which is 1 kilogram? Let me know what you think. I think that the can of soda is going to weigh less. I think it will be less than a kilogram. Let's find that out by putting it on the scale to weigh it. I find out that that can of Coke is 186 grams, which is less than a kilogram, because a kilogram is 1,000 grams, and this is only 186 grams. So we would definitely use grams to weigh a soda can, not kilograms. Okay, next, check out this big old Reading Street teacher manual. Trust me, this thing is heavy. What do you think? Less, about, or more than the Bible? Less, about, or more? I think it's more. Trust me, I carry this thing around all the time. It is heavy. And here we see, as I put it on the scale, it's kind of large for this tiny little scale. Now, I think you can see it now. 2.044 kilograms. So that's just a tiny bit more than 2 kilograms. So it's definitely more than that Bible. It's actually twice as heavy. 2.044 is almost 2 kilograms. We could also say it's 2,000 grams. 2,000 grams. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to place 8 rolls of pennies on one side of a bucket balance. And we're going to use different objects to figure out what we think. So first I want to show you. I have 8 rolls of pennies right here. And I'm going to put them on here to show you, there we go, that those 8 rolls of pennies are about 1 kilogram. Of course, it's a little bit off, but it's about a kilogram. So I'm going to put them here on my scale. This is a different kind of scale. I wish we could be in class so that we could actually try this out, but this is going to have to suffice for now. So I put 8 rolls of pennies on one side of my scale. And now I'm going to use different objects, okay, to see if they are less than, about, or more than a kilogram. The first is this tennis ball. What do you think? Do you think a tennis ball is less than, about, or more mass than those 8 rolls of pennies? Well, I think that the tennis ball is going to weigh less than a kilogram. So what I do is I put it on the scale right on this side and watch. Do you see how nothing happened? The ball didn't go down at all because it does weigh less. It has less mass than those 8 rolls of pennies. So I was right. And I actually did get to put it on my scale. You don't see it here, but when I put it on my scale, I saw that it weighed 60 grams. So the tennis ball was 60 grams, not 1,000. The next object that I chose to weigh is the Alexa. Okay, so this Alexa is pretty big, but it's not that heavy. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the Alexa is less than, about, or more than 1 kilogram? I think that it's probably less. It's definitely heavier than the tennis ball, but I still think it's going to be less than 1 kilogram because it's just not that heavy. So here I go. I'm going to put it into the scale and I'm going to watch what happens. And it didn't go down. See how the pennies are still all the way down and this is lifted. You can see I can put my hand right underneath and it's not going down. So the pennies are definitely heavier. The pennies have a larger mass than the Alexa. And when I put Alexa on my other scale, I found out that she weighed 839 grams, which is almost 1,000, right? So it's close to a kilogram, but not quite. The next object that I'm going to test out is this jar of sauce. This is just some spaghetti sauce. Now, I noticed that this spaghetti sauce is about the same size as Alexa. They're both really similar in size. They're both cylinders, almost the same height and the same width. But I don't know, something about this just feels heavier. It feels like there might be a little bit more. What do you think? My guess is that the sauce is about a kilogram because it reminded me of the same weight of that Bible that I tried earlier. So here I go. I'm going to stick it in there. And when I let go, let's see what happened. Oh, do you see how it went down and now it's going up and down and up and down? The scale is trying to figure out which one's heavier, right? So there's a little bit of movement, but it's going to eventually, I think, watch what happens. Here I got to check, make sure they're the same distance off the table. See how it's evening out? And I think we're straight. I think that they are perfectly even. So actually, when I put it on my scale, it weighed 1.053 kilograms. So it really is about a kilogram. And it was so close to what those pennies weighed. Do you remember what the pennies weighed? The pennies, when I put them on the scale, and I said, well, they're about, it wasn't perfect, but they were about, the number that I had was 1.054. And now for this is 1.053. That is so close. It is almost exactly the same mass as the pennies. That is so crazy. Okay, now I want you to take a look at each of these practice problems, 3 through 8. They each have a different object, and I want you to choose which unit of measure do you think would make more sense to measure each one in. For instance, the toothbrush. A toothbrush, do you think that you would want to weigh a toothbrush in grams or in kilograms? Remember, gram is like a paperclip. A kilogram is like a heavy Bible. Which one would you want to use for the toothbrush?